Hey Epro 360 students, so this is a fun video that we've been waiting for. It's about 6 things you can tell your parents that to convince them to finance your studies in the US and support your dream to go over to the US. So the way it's going to flow is, Amanda, do you want to read out the first argument? It's literally quotes, like things you can tell your parents, word to word if you will, and we can post them below, and then we're going to elaborate on them a little bit.
Okay, so quote, here we go. College is supposed to be the time in life to get to know about myself, not just to get to know about some academic concepts. How am I going to have time for that when I need to decide on my major before I even enter the university? That's a good one. You want to elaborate?
Yeah, I think if I were your dad, I would actually struggle to answer that, because I mean really it's about like many parents just want your kids to get from A to B in a linear line, to want their kids to be successful, but I think many high school graduates just don't know who they are. They haven't done the inner work to find out what is it that actually speaks to my heart.
Right.
And going abroad and going to the US with the general study system is a beautiful thing to just dig a little deeper and then try to define your appetite really. Maybe you can explain what the general study system is.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that's one of the really appealing things about US universities is they give you time to decide on what you want to study, and we have things called core classes. So all the freshmen, and even if you're a sophomore, you take these core classes, and it's courses that everybody has to take.
Right.
So as you're taking those, if you haven't decided on a major, you can choose. Literally, we have a major called undecided, so you can choose that, work on your core classes, and when you kind of figure out what you're more interested in, then you can decide. So it doesn't waste any time. Like Jonah said, you get to find out what you're passionate about and really take your time with that because it's important.
Right, and I think that's one of the main differences between the undergraduate system at all other countries in the world and the US, that it takes 4 years in the US to complete, versus in Germany, for example, it takes 3 years. But the thing is, like, I can't talk about other countries. In Germany, we have a 40% dropout rate because people would start something, especially like medicine, law, or engineering. You don't have those subjects when you graduate high school. Then you go into medicine and you find out after 1 year, oh, that's not it. Then you have to drop out and start from fresh. But that self-orientation phase is just embedded into those 4 years. So I think it's a much more pleasant way in the US to progress towards your degree.
Yeah.
Next one. Oh, I think let me read this one out. So it says, I won't get to know myself as much as I need to properly reflect myself and my culture to succeed in dealing with other cultures later in work. So.
Okay.
How about that?
So reflecting on yourself. Yeah, okay. So I think if I were your mother and you said this to me, I'd be like, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Because getting to know yourself and where you come from definitely gives you more help when you encounter other cultures. You're able to recognize your own, recognize the pros and cons, and also recognize those in other cultures and intermingle more, I think.
Right. I mean, it's for us to be able to sit here. I need to know, I feel like I need to have somewhat of a background of how a US mind functions in order for us to have this conversation.
And me a German mind.
Right. But then I also feel like wherever we grow up, we take, I took certain things of who I was for granted, but it wasn't actually me. It was Jonas's cultural German baggage I was carrying around with me.
Same.
And I was only, and
as an American, right?
We were only able to reflect on, hey, what's Amanda versus what's US Amanda when you went out of the US and now you live in Spain, right? And then you could see, okay, that's me versus US culture, and then you're able to make this distinction. I think it's super nice whenever you interact with other cultures to just show them the Amanda and not have the whole tale of US culture that may or may not be you. So
that's a perfect way of explaining it. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, that's perfect.
Thanks. Hey, how about you draw the next one?
Okay. It says, ooh. Okay. So this is, do you want me to be successful, or do you want me to be successful and happy?
Oh wow.
Then just be quiet, listen, and enjoy the answer.
It's true. So if I was Amanda's dad and she would ask me, Dad, do you want me to be successful in life or happy and successful? The answer for me would be so obvious. So I think it's a nice one to let you just ask your question and then let it sink in.
Yeah.
Because
and your parents won't have an answer. You'll be like, well, you got me.
Right.
All right.